Hey, so we have some big news out of CES this year, the Consumer Electronics Show, where Jeep has just announced that by 2022, all their models will have electrified options. Now in this video, we're going to talk about what that means, what that could mean for the future of the brand, and how that's going to affect your latest purchase of a new Jeep product. So Jeep has officially said that the Jeep Wrangler, Renegade, and Compass are coming in electrified versions called 4xe models. So 4xe is kind of clever. It's a play on words like 4x4, 4xe. E, of course, meaning electricity or electrification. And we've got a new badge which looks like this. But other than that, we don't know too much about what to expect from these new EVs. Jeep has announced that the upcoming Wrangler, Renegade, and Compass 4xe models are going to be plug-in hybrids. A plug-in hybrid combines a gasoline and electric motor together into one system. Now the way it typically works is it's got a large onboard battery and you can drive the vehicle solely on electricity between usually 20 and 40 miles, at which point when the main battery is depleted, the vehicle operates as a standard hybrid. So you still fill it up with gas and it runs on a combination of gas and electricity. Now Jeep has said that these electric vehicles will be the most efficient and responsible Jeep models ever, and that they'll provide absolute and quiet open-air freedom while taking performance, 4x4 capability, and driver confidence to the next level. So there's some big claims that these Jeeps are not only going to be better on the road, but even better off the road. And how can this be? Well, we had a hint from Geneva this year where Jeep rolled out plug-in hybrid versions of the Compass and the Renegade. Now these weren't officially announced for the US, now we know they're coming to the US, but the ones that were announced in Europe could be quite similar to the ones we see here stateside. So the 2019 Geneva Auto Show news was that the plug-in Compass and Renegade offer up to 240 horsepower, which is a lot of power, and all-electric range of about 31 miles. They combine both a 1.3-liter turbocharged engine and electric motor, and they should offer 0 to 100 kilometer times or 0 to 62 mile an hour times of around 7 seconds, which is pretty good. Now the way they work is very similar to how Toyota has done their hybrids for many, many years. So on the front axle, you've got that 1.3-liter turbocharged four-cylinder driving the front wheels, and then on the rear axle, you have an electric motor system, but there's no prop shaft that's connecting the front and the rear. You see this on vehicles like the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid, the Lexus RX hybrids, and even on something like the new Lincoln Corsair plug-in hybrid, which was just debuted, same exact system. Now I have had a chance to try this system off-road in the past in the RAV4 Hybrid, and it works pretty well, and that's because one of the downsides of a gasoline engine without a low range is that you don't have that instant torque when you're going slowly when you're rock crawling. Now the electric motors do have that instant torque. So in this RAV4 Hybrid I drove, when I was going up this really steep kind of rocky hill, the gas engine was kind of in this low RPM just lugging along, but that electric motor on the rear was able to keep me going at a slow, constant speed. Now I'm beached. I'm stuck here, so give it a little bit of momentum. Foot to the floor. Ooh, wow, let me really rev it up. I don't want to pop a tire either. So I'm gonna be a little careful. There it goes, there it goes, there it goes. Good result, good result, good result. Grip, grip, grip. Slowly modulate it. Yes, good. Good, 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 good. Oh, bad, 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 bad. Ooh, come on. Please grip, please grip, please grip. Oh, we're so close, car. Oh, that's so much tire, though. Let me try giving it a little bump here. Oh, we're up, we're up, we're up. We are up! The Compass and the Renegade look like they're going to go with this front-wheel drive gas system, rear-wheel drive electric system, which is a very effective way to do it. Now, the big one you're probably wondering about is the Wrangler. Now, the Renegade here is still a front-wheel drive based system, even in all-wheel drive form, which is great when adding electrification, because then you don't need any connection between the front and the rear axle. So the front axle is primarily a gasoline-driven axle, and the rear is solely electric-driven, and there's no prop shaft or drive shaft between the two. Unfortunately, the Wrangler is a totally different story because the Wrangler is a four-wheel drive, which means it has a transfer case. So this is your current Wrangler. You've got a gasoline engine that sends its power to a transfer case, which then distributes the torque either to the rear or to all four wheels, depending whether or not you have it in four-wheel drive. So here is how I think the electrified version is probably going to work. In the front here, you're going to have a gasoline engine and an electric motor somewhere in the transmission. And then both of these power plants are going to send their power to the current transfer case, which is then going to split it up either to the front or to the rear wheel. So in this system, you'd have the hybrid combined energy going to both the rear or the front wheels, depending on whether or not you have it in four-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. This is probably the simplest and easiest way to use this architecture in the current JL four-wheel drive design. The other option, which I think would be extremely unlikely, is you have a gasoline engine that sends its power to the transfer case and then sends its power to the front wheels, and then on the rear axle you have an electric motor. This seems like a needlessly complicated design. You're not getting the benefits of having a transfer case really here, because the transfer case only splits the power to the front wheels and then have the rear axle be all electric. The third probably worst option would be to convert the Wrangler into an independent suspension vehicle like we see with the Renegade, in which case you could eliminate the four-wheel drive system altogether, just used an all-wheel drive system. I think that's unlikely, but it could be a possibility. In terms of range, who knows? I mean, Jeep has announced in Europe that the Renegade and the Compass are going to get about 31 miles of range. The Wrangler is, let's be real, kind of an inefficient design. It's very boxy and square. I suspect somewhere in the 20 to 30 miles of all-electric range. Now, Jeep says additional information around the Jeep Wrangler, Compass, and Renegade 4xe vehicles, which will debut this year, will be provided at the Geneva, New York, and Beijing auto shows. New York typically corresponds with the Easter Jeep Safari, which is the biggest gathering of Jeep vehicles here in the US, so I expect to see some big news there. But let me know in the comments section below, are you ready for an EV Jeep or a plug-in hybrid Jeep? This is some exciting news, and I think the future is going to be pretty bright, because if we can combine that instant EV torque off-road with perhaps the range of a gasoline engine, we may have some cool stuff on our hands. As always, this is Tommy with the Fastlane Car. Head over to TFLcar.com for the latest and greatest in EV Jeep news.